Sit.
Sit on down.
All right.
So here we are in Fort Lauderdale, kicking off Coffee with Kev in 2024. Go ahead, introduce yourself, your company.
Well, hi everybody, Ramy Elmasri. I am the Texas managing partner of Clausen Miller. I am a shareholder. We have our offices in Dallas and Houston, and I oversee them.
All right, so Coffee with Kev is normally just that Coffee with Kev, but here we are, day 3 of the LEA. It's noon, so we've both been through at least 2 or 3 cups of coffee, so we decided to go with Juice with Kev.
Yeah.
And I ordered the fuchsia beverage, the orange pineapple.
I had
the juice.
I have a kale green type thing, and it's to combat the effects of the wonderful Forte party that we went to last night. That I might have stayed out a little too late on.
Tell us about your claims journey. I find this very fascinating. This is my favorite part, to see where you came from to get to where you are now in claims.
I went to law school in the great state of Texas at Texas A&M School of Law, and that led me from a big jump to working for AIG in their financial lines D&O department. I was there since I guess 2008. And was when I left, and then moved down to Florida because I found a lovely significant other that dragged me here and told me everything was sunny and nice and beautiful. And I, in turn, later on, dragged her to the great state of Texas by tricking her and telling her that it wasn't as hot as Florida. And then the last 2 years, since we opened our offices there, she has figured out that I'd lied to her to lure her to my home state of Texas. So
I noticed online you have twins.
I do.
I have 3 sons, but each one was their own individual journey. And for me, the first 3 months of having a child, anybody who doesn't have kids or is thinking about it or expecting, the first couple months of a child's life is about the most difficult couple months. Now add into that twins. Is that as difficult of a thing to manage as I imagine it to be?
It is. I'm not gonna lie. Luckily, I have some friends that also have twins, and they've gone through the same thing. And you're getting 2 lives handed to you at once on a platter, where most people get 1, and that's a difficult journey unto itself. But when you get 2 uniquely different children, it's an experience. I have twin boys. They're now 7 years old, and it has been nothing but the utmost joy and pleasure to see them grow up together. Plus, they always have someone to get in trouble with, blame, hit, or generally occupy themselves. So it's been a blessing. My wife and I are stronger for it. It's a challenge, but you have 3, so you one-upped me.
So last year we met in London for the STEM is for Everyone event, which was a great week. That
great event.
Happening again this November. The date's still to come. But what is something about, what do you see as a difference between working with the London market versus working with domestic insurers?
I think communication can sometimes be a challenge, because with the London market, often there's multiple parties involved in the risk, and you want to be clear and communicate everything that's going on with a claim or litigation or a coverage matter with them effectively. And sometimes that can be challenging when dealing with multiple entities. So hopefully you have one contact that is dealing with that. But the London market is so fantastic, and they've been doing it for so long, going all the way back to Llyds, that they have such a breadth of knowledge that they understand these things. And the partnership has been there for years, if not decades, especially going back to like a firm like ours that's been around since 1934. I mean, we've been dealing with them and assisting them and representing them for like I said, decades. So they understand what's going on and are very sophisticated institutional clients.
I was on your Twitter page, which not a lot of people understand, or X, how to navigate the Twitter X world, so I think a lot of people stay away from it. But I went on in my deep dive for you and found, I was immediately stopped in my tracks because your descriptor says, loves tacos. So as an attorney, if you had to create an argument for what the best taco is, crunchy, soft, pork, seafood, whatever, what would be your argument for the best taco to convince the jury?
Well, all tacos are great, and all tacos deserve love, no matter what type, whether you're talking about your regular crunchy shell or soft shell or whatever. But being a Houstonian, I have to argue for the taco al carbone, which, let me explain.
Okay.
Houston is the birthplace of the fajita. So it originally started, I believe, at a place called Ninfa's. There's some question as to who created it, but it is the perfect taco and the perfect food delivery device, because you get a handmade tortilla with your choice of protein served to you on a cast iron skillet that's steaming and hot, and you get to do it the way you want it. I argue that the fajita is the best taco. Some people may argue whether or not that's even a taco and it's a separate thing, but coming from the birthplace of the fajita, that's what I'm going to go with. Okay. And that's my argument. Fajitas deserve love.
Movies or music, whatever you choose is going to be the question I give you.
Let's go music.
When I travel for work, I always listen to albums from start to finish. Instead of just in your car and you're jumping from song to song, what is an essential album that everybody should listen to?
Can I give you a couple of answers?
Sure.
It depends on the genre of music, because I'm a big Texas country music fan. And number 2, Live Diner by Robert Earl Keen, I can listen to over and over again. If we're talking rap, I think The Chronic. The original Dre with Snoop on some of the backtracks is got to be one of my favorite rap albums. And then if we're talking rock and roll, I think Some Girls by the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
So I love all genres, but if you're forcing me to throw 3 out there, those would be the ones.
Recently, you had a win in Texas. I'm going to read this literally verbatim because you had a win recently in Texas federal court by proving that the plaintiff had an action pending on the Department of Labor with similar issues. What is the process an attorney takes to discover that type of information and find creative ways to win a case?
Doing your homework. So just like an expert looks at history and background before opining on what's occurred in present time, you have to, as a lawyer, do the same thing. So going back and doing background checks on claimants or the people making the claims and finding prior claims, I think is one of the most important things you can do, because it sets the stage for who you're dealing with. So it's the same thing I think that everyone in every industry that is good at what they do should do, is find out who they're dealing with.
All right, and now it's time for, I think, a lot of people's favorite part, because I do some of the questions we talk about ahead of time. I'm not gonna lie, Coffee with Kev might be revealing some things, but the one thing I tell everybody is I don't want to know the Ask the Asker question. So here we go, it's time for Ask the Asker.
What are you looking at to facilitate your opinions as experts when, what can we do as counsel to set you up for success?
I think one of the things you touched on before when we were talking about the London market was communication. One of the things that I find with attorneys, and you correct me if I'm wrong, is that you're a very busy folk. You don't just often have one case happening, right? So sometimes it'll be like, hey, can we get a budget and CVs for this type of an expert? So we get that together and we send it. And then maybe 2 weeks go by and we've sent a couple emails because you are very busy. I would say a very open channel of communication, because we're wired. One of my selling points for Forte is we are wired to get out and get the job done as fast and as timely as possible with a quality report on the post side. That is one of our selling points, and I think we do a great job of it. If we could figure out who's helping you in the firm that can maybe help direct some of that traffic and connect with them as well. I don't want it to be Forte and Clausen. I would love it to be Forte is an extension of Clausen. You know, we're not the same company, but your people look at us as a direct partner.
Yeah, we're on a team.
We're on a team. Would you rather go to the moon or to the bottom of the ocean?
Neither, but I guess the moon?
Okay.
Well, either one, I guess, involves a sense of claustrophobia, because you'd have to...
Is that what it is?
Yeah, could you imagine the bottom of the ocean? I'm not James Cameron.
What is the legal win that you had that you are most proud of?
So, I guess in my legal career representing insurers was probably an arbitration on a commercial loss where we were able to obtain a 0 verdict, no recovery, and obtain all of our fees back from a pretty well-known plaintiff's firm. In my personal life, I've had to represent, family members and things like that in the past, and those are probably the most satisfying because I am able to see cognitive results from that outcome. So a lot of the pro bono, I guess, pro bono stuff that we're doing.
Okay. We're bringing this thing in for a landing. You've done great. You've gone through all the questions. Great Ask the Asker. And now the new thing I like to do is leave people on a positive note with some type of an inspirational quote, or maybe a person that you looked up to, why they were important in your life or whatever. Give the people something positive to go off with.
Joe, I have this on my office wall, and it's from a speech that Teddy Roosevelt gave, I think in 1910 in Paris. I think you might appreciate it. It's known as "It's not the critic who counts." It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming, but who knows great enthusiasms, great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. And that is from the great Teddy Roosevelt, and I think it inspires me when I'm nervous before I go into something to say, hey, even if I don't win, or if this doesn't come out the way I want it to, I at least stepped in the arena and fought the good fight, and I'm in there, and those who cast stones aren't usually the ones doing things in life.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you very much for being on. You did excellent. It was awesome. And we're going to see you next time.
It's a blast. Thank you.
Take care.